The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. In this video, we'll go through important questions and scoring package. Now, as per blueprint, you'll get 1 markers for 20 marks, which is part A. And in part B, you're going to get 11 questions, out of which you need to answer 6. And in part C, you're going to get again 11 questions, out of which you have to answer 6 questions. And in part D, you're going to get 8 questions, out of which you have to answer 4. And then in part E, you're going to get 2 6 markers and 2 4 markers. And you have to answer 1 each. 1 6 marker and 1 4 marker is what you have to answer. Now let's look at the scoring package, right? This is a combination for 60 marks. Now, you can study whichever chapters you want based on what is easier for you and what is simpler for you. This is just one of my recommendations, right? This is just one of my recommendations on how you could get 60 marks package. So you could prepare for 9 chapters out of 14 and you could get 60 marks, right? So this is one of the combinations. Now, sets, you can take 1 marker, 2 markers, 3 markers. So you'll get totally 8 markers in sets. Again, this is an easy chapter, right? Just that you have to practice all the exercise problems. Next one is relations and functions. Again, high scoring chapter. You have 2 1 markers, 1 3 marker, and 1 5 marker. Linear inequalities. Easy chapter, right? Straightforward. There is no confusion in linear inequalities. Straightforward questions. So 1 marker, 1 2 marker, 1 3 marker. Permutations and combinations. Here again you have 2 1 markers, 1 2 marker, and 1 5 marker. Binomial theorem, right? Easy one. So you have to be careful while doing the binomial expansion. There's a video on tips and tricks on how to do the expansion easily without any mistakes. Also, there is a playlist on binomial theorem. If you have to understand how to expand using binomial theorem, how do you find the independent term or decimal expansion, for all of those subtopics, you have a playlist. And in conic sections, right? Again, this is a high scoring chapter. You have 2 1 marker questions, you have a 3 marker, and you have a 6 marker. Right? Now, in conic sections, you have different subtopics, right? Like circles, parabola, hyperbola, ellipse. Right? Now, there are a few fixed questions or fixed subtopics that come from this particular chapter. This is a lengthy chapter, right? This is a lengthy chapter, but parabola and circles, right? Parabola and circles is easier one. Parabola being the easiest. Again, there is a playlist on parabola, complete parabola. There is a revision video, one shot revision video, and there is a playlist with all detailed videos for parabola. Next comes statistics. Again, easy chapter, straightforward. You just have to understand how to find the mean deviation with mean or with median, right? So 5 marker and 1 marker. And for these 2 chapters, probability and complex numbers and quadratic equation, it is enough if you prepare for 1 markers, right? This way you could get 60 marks. You could attempt the paper for 60 marks, right? And if you're thorough with these chapters and you're able to solve all the questions correctly, then you could get 60 marks. We will also go through important questions in each of these chapters. So to summarize, in part A, you have to prepare for 9 chapters, right? All 9 chapters from this list. All 9 chapters from this list, you have to prepare for 1 markers. And for part B, 4 chapters you have to prepare: sets, linear inequalities, binomial theorem, permutations. Like I said, linear inequalities is straightforward. Binomial theorem is straightforward. From part C, 4 chapters again: sets, relations, linear inequalities, and conic sections. And from part D, 4 chapters again: relations, permutations, conic sections, and statistics. Statistics is straightforward. Conic sections, parabola and circles, there are frequently asked questions, easy ones. And relations also, there are few fixed questions, such as drawing a graph and finding out the domain and range, straightforward. So if you're prepared for these 4 chapters, part D would be easy one. Coming to part E, 1 chapter, conic sections. Now, if you have to prepare for 4 markers, right, then either you have to study limits and derivatives, right, or progressions, that is sequence and series. If you prepare for these 2 chapters or one of these 2 chapters, you can get 4 marker. Now we will look at chapters that can give 80 out of 80, right? Again, this is my own set of recommendations or own ideas. You can have your own combination of chapters based on which chapters you feel is easier and simpler. I will just go through one of my recommendations or one of my ideas. Now, the topics are similar to 60 marks package, except that you have to study additional chapters and additional topics to get 80 on 80. Sets, the entire chapter has to be prepared for all parts A, B, and C. Relations and function, again same, part A, part C, and part D. Linear inequalities, yeah, the entire chapter needs to be prepared for 1 marker, 2 marker, and 3 marker. Same thing with permutations, binomial theorem, conic sections. Now, additional chapter that needs to be prepared is Introduction to Three-Dimensional Geometry, so that you could get 1 marker and 3 marker. Totally, it will give you 4 marks. Now, the next additional chapter would be Limits and Derivatives. Now, the entire chapter needs to be prepared for 2 1 markers, 1 2 marker, 3 marker, 5 marker, and 4 marker. Now, the reason I chose Limits and Derivatives is so that we could answer 1 4 marker. Now, alternatively, instead of limits and derivatives, you could prepare for sequence and series also. The only reason I put limits and derivatives here is because next year, when you go to second PUC, you're going to get exhaustive chapters based on this topic related to differential calculus, integral calculus, application of derivatives, application of integral calculus. So, a lot of exhaustive topics are going to be based out of this chapter, and that's why it's better if you're thorough with this chapter in this year itself. Now, for statistics, you'll have to prepare for 1 marker and 5 marker. And then you'll have to prepare for 1 markers from all the other chapters. So totally, you would have to prepare for 9 chapters thoroughly, and the remaining 5 chapters you should study to prepare for 1 markers. This way, you could prepare for 80 on 80. So you will get additional choices in 5 marker, right? You will get one additional choice. But if you want to have more choices, then you can learn more chapters. Now, to summarize, in part A, you have to prepare for all 14 chapters. In part B, you need to prepare for 5 chapters. You need to attempt 6 questions out of 11 questions. So you need to prepare for 5 chapters, which are sets, linear inequalities, binomial theorem, permutations, limits and derivatives. In part C, again, you have to attempt 6 questions out of 11 questions, and you'll have to prepare for 6 chapters here. Sets, relations, linear inequalities, conic sections, 3D geometry, limits and derivatives. Coming to part D, you have to attempt 4 questions. 8 questions would be given. So you'll have to prepare for 4 chapters, which are relations, binomial theorem, permutations, limits, and statistics. So if you prepare for these chapters, part D should be an easy one. Next comes part E, which is conic sections and limits. Conic sections for your 6 marker and limits for 4 marker. Now let's look at important questions from each of the chapters and each of the parts. So we'll start with part D because this is the highest scorer, right? You have to focus on part D to get better scores, right? This is a very important part. Now, first one is relations and functions. So these 3 questions, right? Define modulus function, draw the graph, write its domain and range, and or define signum function or greatest integer function, right? You have to write the domain and range, draw the graph. All these 3 has been repeated multiple times in the previous year's question papers. We cannot say for sure that this is what you're going to get in the question paper, but what I would suggest is you can focus, you can practice, you can focus and practice more on these kind of questions so that it will be easy for you to write these answers correctly, perfectly in the exam. So focus on modulus function, signum function, greatest integer function along with other kind of functions, right? Focus on this primarily. So this is again a 5 marker, easy one. Next one is binomial theorem. This is a straightforward chapter. It's not tricky, there's no confusion, straightforward. Only things you have to be careful in expanding it because you could go wrong in writing the powers, right? When you're writing the powers, you could go wrong. But here in the 5 marker, you will have to prove this theorem. This binomial theorem, you will have to prove or derive, right? This particular topic would give 5 marker, right? Next one is permutations and combinations. Now here you'll have to solve all the exercise problems, right? On worked examples. Any kind of problem can come. mostly be related to combinations, right? Mostly related to combinations. I'm not talking about permutations, but mostly related to combinations, right? So now if you need to really understand the difference between permutation and combination, you can go through my playlist on permutations and combinations, right? You can go through the videos and try to understand. But combinations is an important topic here. So majorly it will be related to cards. You'll have questions related to cards, or you'll have questions related to committee, right? You have a committee of people, you have to choose committee members, right? These kind of questions, right? Now if you look at the cards, you have 52 playing cards. In how many of these, 4 cards are of same unit or same color basically, right? You could have spades, diamonds, clubs, and heart, right? You could have all of these. So here you'll have to choose 4 cards of same suit. Means it has to be of the same type, like spades or diamonds or clubs only or heart only, right? It should be within this group. Then 4 cards belong to different suits. So the cards can come from each of these. 2 are red cards and 2 are black cards. Cards are of same color, right? You'll have 2 colors, red and black. So cards could be of either red or black. Right. Next question is, a committee of 7 has to be formed from 9 boys and 4 girls. In how many ways can this be done when the committee consists of exactly 3 girls, at least 3 girls, at most 3 girls? Again, this is just example problems, right? But you'll have to solve all the exercise problems and worked examples. The next one is, a group consists of 5 girls, 7 boys. In how many ways can you form a team of 5 members? Then the next one is, how many arrangements can you make with the word independence, right? The words start with P and the words begin with I and end in P. These kind of problems, right? These are all easy ones, just that you need practice, right? Practice all the examples and you'll be thorough with these kind of problems. The next one is statistics, right? This is again a frequently occurring question. Find the mean deviation about the mean. So you could get mean or you could get median, right? So this is an important topic. Prepare for this particular topic. Next one is straight lines. Now here again you'll have to practice the proof or derivation of finding a distance of a point from this particular line, right? You'll have to prove this. Now this is explained in model question paper. I've solved the model question paper and explained it as well, right? So there you can go through this particular derivation. Limits and derivatives, again this particular theorem, right? You need to be proving this particular theorem using sandwich theorem. Using sandwich theorem, you have to prove this one. Again, this is a fairly simple one. Fairly simple one. You should be able to learn this easily. Now coming to part E. In part E, like I said, there are 2 6-marker questions. One coming from trigonometry. The most frequently occurring question is this one. You have to prove that cos of x plus y is equal to cos x cos y minus sin x sin y. You have to prove this geometrically, right? Again, this has been explained in the model question paper. You can go through that. And the second 6-marker would be from conic sections. Derive the equation of ellipse, right? X square by a square plus y square by b square is equal to 1. You have to derive this equation. Or you should also learn derivation of parabola equation, right? Y square is equal to 4ax. So be prepared for both these topics thoroughly, right? And the explanation for this is given in the model question paper. The next comes the 4-marker questions. So you will get one from sequence and series and one from limits, right? Now from sequence and series, this is a frequently asked question in the previous question papers, right? You'll have to find the sum of the series. The series could be anything, right? You could have any kind of series. Practice a lot of problems with respect to sequence and series. And then, or you could go for limits and derivatives. Now limits and derivatives, you could get any kind of questions, right? So if you're taking this particular chapter, prepare for the entire chapter thoroughly. So this is about part D and part E. Now we will go through important questions from each of the chapters. These kind of topics are important and you should practice more on these kind of topics or questions. It is not necessary that these topics or questions will come in the final exam, but the more thorough you are with these kind of questions, it will help you in your preparation. Now in sets, most frequently asked question in the 1-marker section is the interval form of this particular expression. The interval form of this particular expression, right? You have to write the closed interval and the open interval using the bracket symbol, right? The next one is you will get questions like what is A union B union A minus B, or A intersection B, or A into B, right? All these kind of questions related to sets. Then another important question is write roster form of the set, right? You have to write this in the roster form. Next one is you have been given a set which is defined this way. You will have to write this in roster form. Now coming to 2 marker section. So you generally have to, you'll be given sets A and B. You will have to find A minus B, B minus A. The next important one is list all the subsets of set A and B, right? You just have to put the subsets of this particular set. Then another example, taking the set of natural numbers as universal set, write down the complement of set, right? So if this is set, then you have to write the complement of this particular set, right? Assuming that universal set is set of natural numbers. You have all natural numbers in the universal set. You can find the complement set. Next one is you have given 2 sets, find A cross B. How many sets will A cross B have, right? Basically, Cartesian product. Now here again, few more 2 markers. You have a universal set given, you have set A given, set B given, find A intersection B. Then you have given number of elements in one set, number of elements in another set, and then you are given number of elements in the union set. You just have to find the number of elements in the intersection set, right? And then another one is you've given 3 sets here, A, B, and C. You have to find A intersection B union C. Now in this, there could be multiple combination, right? It could be A union B intersection C, or A union B intersection C, this way, right? Please solve all of the problems given in the worked examples and exercise. Coming to 3 marker section, here you could have proofs, right? You have to prove that A union B, the whole complement, is equal to A complement intersection B complement. So like this you could have proofs. Then you could also have examples like this, that there are 200 individuals with a skin disorder, 120 has been exposed to the chemical, 52 chemical C2, 32 both chemical C1 and C2. Find the number of individuals exposed to chemical C1 or chemical C2, that is C1 union C2. Chemical C1 but not chemical C2, right? That is C1 minus C2. So these kind of things you'll have to find out. Then next one is if you have 2 sets and the union is given, the union set has 50 elements, X has 28 elements, set X has 28 elements, set Y has 32 elements, and then you'll have to find how many elements does X intersection Y have. Then you have another example. You have students, you'll have to find out how many take tea, how many take coffee, all these kind of combinations. Coming to complex numbers, again you have 1 marker, 2 markers, and 1 3 marker. So very frequently occurring one, represent the complex number in the polar form, right? So you have different examples like this. You have been given a complex expression, complex number like this. You have to express it in polar form. This is one example. This is one example, right? This is one example. Then here also, right? Represent these in the polar form. Then this is one proof, right? You've been given one expression here. You have to prove that this expression is equal to this expression. Here again, express in AIB form. This one, you have to prove that x square plus y square is equal to 1. Then express this in AIB form. Then another important one is find the multiplicative inverse, find the additive inverse, right? Multiplicative inverse would be 2 marker, additive inverse would be 1 marker. Then again, express in the form A plus IB, then find the conjugate, right? Another very important one, find the conjugate of root 3 I minus 1. So if you notice, these are all easy 1 markers, right? These 1 markers are very easy, right? Whether you prepare for this entire chapter or not, whether you prepare for 2 marker or 3 marker or not, do prepare for 1 marker. Don't leave the 1 markers. Try to learn 1 markers of every chapter. Now coming to relations and functions. So you have 1 marker, 3 marker, and 5 marker, right? Now 5 marker one is very easy, like we saw in part D, right? You will get most frequently asked questions are this: modulus function, signum function, greatest integer function. You have to draw the graph and then you have to write its domain and range. Prepare for these thoroughly. Then you have 1 marker in relations and functions. So you have number of elements in set A, number of elements in set B. Find the number of relations from A to B. Very easy, right? Then find the domain and range of functions. You have to find the domain and range of functions, right? And here you have coordinates. Here you have x and y expressions given. Find the value of x and y. Then you have 2 sets. You have to find the Cartesian product, right? So these are all easy 1 markers, right? Especially this one, Cartesian products, this one, this particular equation, this is all easy ones. Similarly, when you're finding domain and range, try to evaluate this particular, simplify this particular expression. Try to get the f of x values, try to get the x values, assume certain x values like 0, 1, 2, 3, and then try to get f of x values, see what is the domain, see what is the range. So all the x values would be your domain, and all f of x values would be your range, right? Simple. Similarly here also, you take and assume any value like 0, 1, 2, -1, -2, -3, right? So whatever x values you take will become the domain, whatever f of x value you will get will be the range. Coming to 3 markers, again this is easy one, right? You are given f of x, you have given g of x, right? You'll have to find f plus g, f minus g, f by g, f into g, right? All these multiplication, division, addition, subtraction of functions, right? This is easy ones. 3 marks, very easily you can get 3 marks here. This is another example, right? Same example, but you'll have to find same thing, addition, subtraction, multiplication. And here you have a different kind of problem. Set A is given, relation is given, right? Now you have to write down the domain, codomain, and range. Simple. You put all the x values from A, all the y values from A, and see which value will give you 0. That becomes your relation, right? Those ordered pairs will become your relation. And then you have to write all the domain, codomain, and range. Here, another list of problems. You have set given, relation is given. Another example, B is exactly divisible by A, right? So you have to write relation in roster form. You have to find the domain. You have to find the range. Then here, a Cartesian product, A cross A has been given. It has 9 elements. These are the elements, right? Find set A and remaining elements of Cartesian product. Obviously, set A will have -1, 0, and 1. That's all. Set A will have -1, 0, and 1, right? Now you will have to find Cartesian product. You have to find all the ordered pairs and form a Cartesian product. Now, coming to binomial theorem. Again, you have 1 marker, 2 marker, and 5 marker here. This is the 5 marker. You have to prove binomial theorem. You have to prove binomial theorem. And then this is an easy 5 marker, right? Frequently asked question. Then comes 1 marker. 1 marker is very, very easy. You have to find the number of terms in the expansion. Simple. Number of terms would be 1 more than the power. You have 6 as the power, add 1, that will become the number of terms, 7. Then expansion. How do you expand this particular expression using binomial theorem? Very simple, right? Practice on this. You can refer tips and tricks, right, to see an easy way of expanding these problems. So this way 1 marker, 2 marker, 5 marker is very easy in binomial theorem, right? You can study this chapter with little practice. This chapter becomes an easy one. Coming to linear inequalities, another very easy chapter, right? 1 marker, 2 marker, 3 marker, right? 1 marker, 2 marker, 3 marker. Now, you have to show the graph of the solution on number line. Very easy. You have to just draw a number line, find the values of x and plot it in the number line, right? You just have to ensure that you put closed circle or open circle, right? You have to put these notations to indicate closed interval or open interval. Since there is less than, it will be open interval only. And solve the inequalities graphically. Yeah, here you have to plot the graph. Next one is, this is a statement problem, right? You have to find all pairs of consecutive odd positive integers, both of which are smaller than 10, such that their sum is more than 11, right? Again, this is also an easy one. Just have to practice this. Few more examples. Similar one, find all pairs of consecutive positive integers, which are larger than 5 and less than 23. Another one, this has occurred in multiple question papers also. Ravi obtained 70 and 75 marks in first 2 unit tests. Find the minimum marks you should get in the third test to get an average of at least 60 marks. Here are a set of 1 markers in linear inequalities. Very easy. If a greater than b implies obviously minus a less than minus b. Then you have to solve, that is find the value of x. Everywhere you have to find the value of x, right? Now x could be a real number or x could be an integer. Based on that, you have to find the values of x, right? All of this are examples of 1 marker problems. Now straight lines, lengthy chapter, right? A lot of questions coming from straight lines. Most frequently This question has come very frequently in the previous year question papers, right? In the previous year question papers, this has come very frequently. You can learn the derivation of this particular formula, the distance from the point to the line. And here are a few examples of 2-marker problems, right? Basically, you have to find the equation of straight line. There are different combinations given, right? You have been given a distance of 2 units from y-axis and making an angle of 30 degree, right? So basically, you have to use this equation, general equation formula, y is equal to mx plus c, right? Here, angle is 30 degree. That means tan 30. What is slope? Slope is tan theta. So tan 30 becomes your slope. So instead of m, you put tan 30, x, and c. This is nothing but y-intercept. What is it? What is the y-intercept? It's given as 2 units. So substitute and you'll get this equation, right? This is the equation. Similarly, you have equation of line given intercepts and given point. Then you have in equation of line given a line and point, right? Here, equation of line intersecting at a distance of 3 units to the left of origin with slope as -2. Again, you can use this formula, right? Slope is equal to y minus y1 by x minus x1, right? Since slope is given, you can substitute -2 instead of slope, -2 here. Then you have y minus y1. So now it is intercepting at a distance of 3 units, right? This entire line is intercepting this x-axis. This is intercepting x-axis at a distance of 3 units from the origin. That means this is 3, right? This, if I take this as a point, this will become 3 minus 3 and y will become 0, right? If I take this as a point, this will be -3 and it will become 0. It's minus because they said it's left of origin, on the left side. So now instead of x1, y1, I'll put -3, 0 and I'll get the equation. So all these are similar to this. You'll have to use the slope formula and try to get the equation of line. Now this is another one. Find the angle between the lines. You have to find the angle between 2 lines. Now we assume that this is one line, this is one line, right? You have to find angle here. Theta 2. Say for example, theta 2 between this line and this line. Now if you notice, find this angle, right? This angle. You have to find this angle. You can take this entire angle and subtract with this. So if you assume that this is theta 2, that is, this is x-axis. From x-axis, this is x-axis. Say this is theta 1. From x-axis, this is theta 1, this line. Say I'll just call it as line A. Right? This is theta 1. Then I have another line. And let's take this line B, which makes another angle with x-axis, say theta 2. Now you need to find the angle between the lines. This line, this angle you have to find, theta. Obviously, it's going to be this angle minus this angle. So theta 2 minus theta 1, right, would be the angle theta that you want to find. Now, so you can use tan A minus B formula, right? You can use tan A minus B, right, as theta 2 minus theta 1. Use this formula and you'll get 30 degrees. So 30 degrees is the angle. Now here there are a few more examples. Find the slope of line. These are easy 1 markers, right? How do you find the slope of this line? First of all, get it in the general equation form. What is the general equation form? Y is equal to mx plus c. You have to simplify this in this particular form, right? You have to get it in this form. Then the m becomes slope. Whatever value you get here becomes the slope. So here, if you notice, I have simplified this. So it becomes 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. Then you write it in this form, general equation form. Y is equal to mx plus c. Now you have x here. What is m? M becomes -2 by 3. Similarly, how do you find slope of a line when 2 points are given? Use this formula. y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 is equal to slope. Right? So substitute both these coordinates. Right? This could be your x1, y1. This could be your x2, y2. And you'll get the slope. Another 1 marker, right? Another few 1 marker. The angle between x-axis and line joining points. Right? Again, you use the slope formula. Same, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Right? You have both the coordinates given. So you get slope. Now, actually slope is nothing but tan theta. Right? So you got the slope here. Slope is -1. Right? Now, if you want to find the angle, you'll have to, which angle gives you -1? Which angle? It's 135 degree. Tan 45 is 1. It's a positive one. Tan 45 is +1. Here you want a -1. So obviously it's going to be, you add 90 to this. You add 90 to this, it will become 135. Because this in the second quadrant, you have negative values. Therefore, you add 90 to this, it will become 135 degrees. Then similarly, you have equation of x-axis. What is equation of x-axis? When you say some point is there on x-axis, there is no y-coordinate, right? There is no y-coordinate. So it becomes y is equal to 0. Now here, another example. Find the distance of the point from line. Use this particular formula, right? Point to line, there is this formula, ax1 plus by1 plus c by root of a square plus b square. Here, find distance between parallel lines, right? One marker. Then another one. Derive the equation of line with x-intercept a and y-intercept b in the form this one. This is a 3-marker one. So you can practice this one also. Coming to 3D topic. Again, you have 1 marker and 3 marker coming here. So if you look at the 3 markers, find the coordinates of the point P, which divides the line segment joining the points A, B in the ratio 2:3 internally, right? Now, this is one particular problem. The other type is 3 points are given. You have to find the ratio in which Q divides PR. Then, this is an easy 1 marker. You have to find in which octant these points lie. So practice all of these. You have to determine which octant these points lie. Now, another set of examples. Show that the points form the vertices of a right angle triangle. Now, if you have to show that these points form a right angle triangle, it has to follow Pythagoras theorem. Hypotenuse square is equal to sum of squares of both the sides. AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. Similarly, you can show that the points given are vertices of a parallelogram. How do you say that these points are parallelogram? You have to take AB, it should be equal to CD. AC should be equal to BD. Use distance formula and figure out the values of AB, CD, BD, AC. AB should be equal to CD and AC should be equal to BD. Now, you should also prove that it is not a rectangle, right? If the question has, prove that it's not a rectangle. It is not a rectangle. Then, these diagonals, AD and BC should not be equal. AD should not be equal to BD. Same thing if they say, to show that the points form a rectangle, then you have to prove the same thing. AB is equal to CD, AC is equal to BD, but diagonals are equal in a rectangle. So AD will be equal to BC in a rectangle. So I've taken the first example here. Find the coordinates of point P, which divides the line segment joining the points A and B in the ratio 2:3. Just try to solve this, okay? Just try to solve this. So now you need to find the coordinates of this point, right? Assume that it is X, Y, and Z. You want to find the coordinates. So what you will do, you will first take the ratio, right? 2 and 3. For all X and Y and Z, you will take 2 and 3. And you multiply it with the coordinate. So you will take, say this one as X1, Y1, Z1. This will be X2, Y2, Z2. So you'll take X2, X1. Here you'll take Y2, Y1. Here you'll take Z2, Z1. So X2 is 3 and X1 is 1. Here Y2 is 4 and Y1 is minus 2. Here Z2 is minus 5 and Z1 is 3. So this way you can use this ratio and these coordinates and you will get X, Y, Z. So these are the coordinates for this particular point P. Now, another example, I've just tried to solve it. Show that the points PQR are collinear. Simple. Using distance formula, find PQ, QR, RP, and then you will see that when you total PQ plus QR, you will get RP. So this will indicate the points are collinear. So basically, PQR, you will find the distance of PQ, you will find the distance of QR, and then this and this when you add, you will get distance of PR. So this will indicate that these 3 points are in the same line, collinear. So let's look at limits and derivatives. So proving this particular theorem, sin x by x is equal to 1, is a frequently occurring question, right? Very important one. Very important one. Then this comes in 3 marker section, right? Finding derivative of sin x, cos x using first principles. So you can focus on these kind of problems also in the 3 marker section. Then coming to conic sections, right? In conic sections, you have 1 marker, 3 marker, and 5 marker. Now, in the 1 marker section, you may want to find the center of circle, then length of transverse axis of hyperbola. So if this is the hyperbola equation that they've given, then transverse axis is nothing but 2 times of A. So this becomes your A and this becomes B. A square and B square. So A becomes 3, so 2 times of A is 6. And here center formula is nothing but x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square is equal to radius square, right? So now equation is given, find the values of h and k, and that becomes your center. So suppose here this is another problem where you have to find the length of transverse axis. But the hyperbola is given this way, y square by 16 minus x square by, so this becomes your b square and this becomes your a square. In this case, transverse axis is 2 times of b, which is 2 times of, this becomes 4, which is 8. So these kind of one markers are very simple, right? Practice these. And this is 3 markers. Now, generally in 3 markers, parabola 1 is a frequently asked question, right? You need to find the equation of parabola, right? Or you have to find the focus, or you have to find the directrix, length of latus rectum, all of these parabola characteristics, right? So they've given the point, simple. Now they've told it's symmetric about y-axis. So which means the parabola is around y-axis. So this is y-axis around this. The point is 2 minus 3. 2 minus 3. It's on the negative y-axis. Minus 3 and 2. It's on this particular 4th quadrant. You have negative y, positive x, so 2 minus 3. So this point is on this particular parabola. Therefore, it is downward parabola. What is the equation for downward? X square minus 4ay. Right? Now, you take this point, x and y coordinate, substitute in this particular equation. Substitute x and y, and you'll find the a value. Now, you take the same equation, right? Leave x as is, y as is. Instead of a, put this value, and then you'll get the equation. Now, this is another parabola example. Now, here, the parabola is around x-axis, right? Now, it can be this way or it can be this way because it's around x-axis. The point will tell you which parabola it is. It's positive 2 and positive 3. That means it's in this quadrant, right? It's in this quadrant because the point is at 2, 3. Positive 2, positive 3. That is positive x-axis and positive y-axis. Therefore, this becomes right-handed parabola. What is the equation for right-handed parabola? Y square is equal to 4ax. Notice there is no negative sign in this equation because here parabola is on the positive side. Therefore, it's positive. Again, same technique. Substitute 2 and 3 as x and y values. Find a value. Take the same equation. Put the a value and you will get the equation. So you can refer parabola one-shot video and playlist, right? It will give you thorough understanding of this entire chapter. Now this is another example. You have to find the focus, equation of directrix, and length of latus rectum. Now y square minus 8x, this is nothing but left-handed parabola because you have minus x. Minus x means negative x. Minus x means negative x. So you have parabola on the negative x. So on the left-hand side. Now equation, you know, y square is equal to minus 4x. They have given the equation also. Now, looking at both of these equations, you can say that a is equal to 2. Now, what is the focus for left-handed parabola? Focus will be this point. This will become focus. So, it's negative x. So, obviously, the coordinate would be minus a, and there is no y-axis here. It's on the x-axis. So, y is 0. So, here a is 2. So, minus 2 comma 0. What is equation of directrix? Directrix will always be on the opposite side of focus. So this will be directrix. This will become positive a comma 0, which is nothing but, this will be the directrix coordinate, but you have to find equation. Equation would be x is equal to 2. X is equal to a, x is equal to 2. Length of latus rectum, irrespective of whichever parabola it is, length of LR is 4 times a. So 4 times 2, which is 8. Now this is an example to find the center and radius of circle. Right, now there are 2 methods, right? One method is this is another general equation of circle. This is general equation of circle and they've already given the equation, right? From this you will get g value and f value. So center is given as minus g minus f. So you get g and f, center is minus g minus f. So you can get the center. Radius, you will use this formula. Now this is one method. Second method is you separate all the x terms here. Like this, x square plus 8x, right? And here y square plus 10y, and put 12 on the other side. Then you add or subtract some value so that you get a quadratic equation, a perfect square. And then you can find, using this equation, you will get center. I find this method easy because you don't have to think about what numbers you need to add or subtract to make it as a perfect square. So this particular equation makes it simpler. Anyway, so whichever is comfortable for you, you can use the method. Find the equation of ellipse. Now 5 marker, right? You have to derive the equation of ellipse. Very frequently asked question, important question, right? And this is rarely asked, but still you can prepare for parabola derivation. Coming to statistics, very easy. You have to find the mean deviation, around the mean or around the median, anything. Median of data, this could be 1 markers, right? In statistics, you could get 1 markers. Either you have to find the median of data or mean of data, simple. Now coming to permutations and combinations, you have 1 marker, 2 marker and 5 marker. Now these are just examples, right? Any problem can come here, right? Any problem can come here. So you have to prepare as much as you can. So you have to prepare as much as you can. So here are some examples, right? The digits are given. You have to see how many 3-digit numbers you can form. Again, Mississippi word is given. You have to find the arrangements such a way that 4 eyes are not coming together. This one, right? These are few more. Find the 8-letter arrangements in the word daughter, where all vowels occur together or all vowels do not occur together. This is another example, Monday. You have to find different arrangements that can be made using this word Monday, where 4 letters are used at a time, all letters are used at a time, right? All these kind of examples. Now, this is important, 5 marker. Important 5 marker. Combinations, right? All combination related problems are important. So here, one example is, what is the number of ways of choosing 4 cards from a pack of 52 playing cards? Then you have to form a committee, right? To form a committee from 7, with exactly 3 girls, at most 3 girls, at least 3 girls, right? All these combination related problems are important. You need to practice all worked examples and exercise problems. Now, easy 1 markers. So don't forget to practice these 1 markers. So you'll get find n if NC8 is equal to NC2. What is the value of n? Simple. N is nothing but add these. 8 and 2 becomes 10. Then factorial related problems, right? And this one, NCR plus NCR minus 1 is nothing but n plus 1 CR. This is just one of its properties or formulas. So with this, we've come to the end of this particular video. If you like this video, do press a like and share it. Thank you.